You know, usually when we talk about audio gear, we tend to focus on the flashy stuff, right? Like massive concert subwoofers or those high-end audiophile headphones we all drool over. But today, for this deep dive, looking at the specs for the Kramer WM-8P-W, I realize we're looking at something arguably more impressive, the invisible workhorse.
Yeah, that's actually the perfect way to frame it. This is the hardware that powers the soundtrack of your daily life. In airports, malls, conference centers, and the entire goal is for you to not even notice it's there.
Uh.
We're basing this on the technical data from HDTV Supply, and honestly, the engineering constraints here are much tighter than in a standard home stereo.
Right, because a home speaker just needs to, well, sound good for a movie night. This Kramer unit has to sound good, mount literally anywhere, and apparently survive a fire.
Effectively, yes.
Yeah.
But let's start with the sound itself first. It's an 8-inch, two-way, wall-mounted passive speaker.
And two-way just means it's delegating, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You've got the 8-inch polypropylene cone doing the heavy lifting for the bass and mids, and then a separate 1-inch soft dome tweeter taking the high notes.
Right, because if you tried to make one single driver do absolutely everything, you just get muddy sound. By splitting the signal, you get clarity. But did you happen to catch that really cool detail about the tweeter cooling?
I did, yeah. It says it's liquid cooled, which immediately made me think of a high-performance gaming PC. Why on earth does a wall speaker need liquid cooling?
Friction, mostly. In a commercial setting, background music runs for, 12, 14 hours a day. The voice coil inside that tweeter gets incredibly hot. So the ferrofluid cooling draws that heat away. It's not about overclocking, it's just about longevity. Without it, the tweeter would literally burn out after a few months of continuous use.
So it's built for a marathon, not a sprint, and it's projecting that sound fast and wide, too. The dispersion angle is listed at 124 degrees.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
Imagine a flashlight beam versus a floodlight. If the beam is too narrow, only the person standing directly in the spotlight hears clearly. 124 degrees is a floodlight.
So you can use fewer speakers to cover a much larger room.
Exactly. It ensures the person standing way back in the corner hears the exact same announcement as the person standing right in the center.
Now, looking at the electrical side, this is where I think the Swiss Army knife aspect really comes in. It's switchable. You can run it at a standard 8-ohm low impedance or flip a switch to 70-volt or 100-volt modes.
That switch is the fundamental difference between a living room setup and a shopping mall.
Okay, so 8-ohm is what I'd use at home for high fidelity. Short wires, big sound.
Correct. But 8-ohm signals degrade over long distances. If you're wiring a paging system across an entire airport terminal, you absolutely need that 70-volt high impedance mode. It pushes the signal like high-pressure water through a pipe. You can daisy-chain dozens of speakers over hundreds of feet without losing any volume.
And it's still pushing 60 watts of continuous power and an 80-watt peak, so it is not quiet. But all that power is completely useless if you can't actually put the speaker where it needs to go. I was looking at the easy mount bracket.
Usually mounting brackets are just an afterthought for these companies.
Yeah, but not here.
Right, because in commercial builds, the architecture always fights back. You have weird corners, HVAC ducts, odd angles. This bracket handles vertical, horizontal, or corner mounting. And if that fails, it has standard VESA threads right on the back.
Wait, like a computer monitor?
Exactly like a monitor. 75mm VESA threads. You can use virtually any off-the-shelf monitor arm to mount these speakers. It solved the installer's headache before they even climb up the ladder.
Wow. There's one last acronym in the source material that feels like the real clincher for me, though. UL1480A.
Ah, the safety pivot. This is huge. It certifies the speaker for fire protective signaling.
So it's not just playing smooth jazz, it's a literal life safety device.
If the fire alarm trips, this speaker is legally certified to handle the evacuation instructions. It has to work when the building is actually in danger. That explains the heavy-duty build quality, the V0 flame-retardant baffle, and the powder-coated steel grille. It's designed to survive the worst-case scenario.
It's robust, but I do appreciate that they didn't ignore the environmental side either. The packaging is fully recyclable, monomaterial carton, no styrofoam peanuts to deal with.
Which really matters when you're unboxing 200 of these things for a stadium project.
For sure. So we have a speaker that covers the full 20 kilohertz acoustic range, cools itself like a computer, mounts like a monitor, and doubles as a fire alarm.
It just looks like a simple white box on the wall. They even made the logo removable so it blends in perfectly. That's the magic of it.
It really puts things into perspective. Next time you're in a store or an office, take a second to just look up.
Yeah, there's some serious engineering happening just to make that background music disappear into the room.
Absolutely. And it really makes you wonder, If our buildings are wired with audio systems this indestructible, what other invisible emergency infrastructure are we walking past every single day without ever noticing? Thanks for joining this deep dive.